What is that melody?
Hi guys, welcome to Mr. MBELE, yeah?
Stop calling me Mr. MBELE. What's your problem? I don't have millions yet. I'm surrounded by million red cars.
Like a lot.
Yeah,
A lot.
and lots of cars.
We're here with another episode of Understanding Who is Hungry. Yeah. And I'm so intrigued to I should know you guys should know, but the voice not really coming cheap. I'm not hungry.
Hi, sir. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm well, man.
I'm good, man. Sitting here with millions and millions and millions in cars and you around.
The value of them,
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. But all in that, I know you. The audience doesn't know you.
Sure.
Who are you? Your background check, what you actually do, and what is the things that motivate you.
Sure. That's a very in-depth question. I always tell people, don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe. But the question of who I am and what I do is a very complex one, right? I'm a young man that is really figuring out this passion thing, figuring out this gift, this anointing that I have of being a very brilliant speaker. One, I'm a speaker, I'm a creative director, secondly, and I am a social media manager by profession, right? And by skill, obviously. So I handle social media accounts and I give you matrix and analysis on what is working, on what is not working. And then from a career point of, I am a master of ceremonies. I host events, style events. You give me a mic, I give you magic, and that is what I do. Essentially, I'm that guy. I'm a creative. I think first and foremost, I'm a creative more than anything else. Yeah.
That's good. Because I know you, the audience, I know you very well. But when you talk, I know when you talk, man. I know when you talk.
Facts.
At being cheap, I get drawn into the full intention.
Sure.
How many minutes? But on the journey of you being a content creator, a lot of things, that come inspiring. What is the main thing that I can see this is me. This is me, yeah. And I see myself here. What really pulled you into that?
I think for me, the reality of knowing my mom and dad owe me nothing.
Okay.
And I say that because the day they are taking their last breath, they will not leave me a car, they will not leave me money, they will not leave me anything.
True.
And the only thing I will have is me. So I'm betting on myself. I'm betting on the skills and the talents that I have. And again, how I then get to believe in myself a bit more and understand what I do is what I'm supposed to be doing is because of the reception again. You do an amazing job and people start noticing. And the interactions with people start to showcase that you do know what you're doing and there's a particular skill and notion that people are picking up in terms of how I show up, right? I'm from the township. I grew up in Mandela, for those that don't know. If Ekatlehong was a Mandela, it's close to Emapam, My first RDP home that we lived in, I was probably 6 years old. So I know the struggles of not having. And I understand, and people will hear me speak and they will assume privilege on me. And they forget that it's a skill. They'll forget that the ability to speak and to converse and articulate something completely differently because I understand who I am and I understand the things I don't have and how I have to work hard to get the things that I need to get. And that allows me to speak the way that I do and allows me to learn different ways to communicate, to enunciate, to breathe, so that I understand that I'm speaking a global language more than just speaking a niche language that allows me just to be within the South African economy and not actually tap into the different economies that we have.
That's a lot because no, it's true. No, intrigued, guys. You guys don't understand. This guy,
yeah.
I call him the best.
Sure, man. I feel like I'm very young. I am an Ampur 2000, right? I am an Ampur 2K. I am 1999.
Hey, on the tip.
So, and I think Mr. Khotmane is a way of respect, and I appreciate it. And it's not that I'm saying don't appreciate me or don't the respect, but I feel like you've said it once. We are now brothers,
True.
And it's that thing intended. There's so much pressure on being a Khotmane and Mr. MBELE, and I think in the years to come, I think people outside of my own social circle probably will call me a Mr. MBELE, will call me a Khotmane, but for people like yourselves who I really deem to be brothers in my life, and we met once. But in terms of the like the connection and the credibility of who you are as a person, your values, your character, aside from your personality, because so many people look at personality and they think that's who you are.
Yes.
And I just look at your character. You know, the many a times you've said no, the many a times you said I'll choose my craft over this, the many a times that you said that does not go with my beliefs, it doesn't go with what I value, and my personality might seem like it allows that, but my character will not, and I've seen that more reflected than just you being a happy, jolly person wanting to have flow conversations with people.
And so bro conversation. But you know, as you said, with all of the generations involved. As in saying to what is the biggest thing that you've encountered? You know what? While it was this show with okay, it's not easy being a creative role.
Sure.
I don't know. How do you actually feel? You know, these are the pros and cons, and how do they go for the people? Because as I want to know with you, you know, I know there's been ups and downs.
Sure.
How do you deal with it, and what are those ups and downs?
Interesting. You know, being a content creator, and I think this word has been used very loosely throughout probably the past 2-3 years since COVID, you know, and us all having TikTok. Everyone is a content creator.
Everyone is.
You know, and I think content creation is something that it's more or less like marketing. And I'll make this example quickly. What marketing was probably 5 years ago was that you went and you studied marketing and you spoke on behalf of a brand, you spoke on behalf of a client, and you found ways to engage with a target audience, they target market and demographics, and you find what clicks with them and what resonates with them, and you create an advert, and you create a slogan, you create something that engages with that demographic and that specific niche and pool that specific client is looking for. And you look at marketing 5 years later is TikTok. Now brands, companies, big brands, established brands are paying people to be a representation of a demographic, of a gender specific, conforming or non-conforming people. You find that brands are now using people, and the element of studying for a marketing degree has now been washed out a bit because we find new terminologies, there's new slang, there's online courses.
Everything new is generated every single
Absolutely. So I think my take on being a content creator is find what you're gifted in.
Yeah.
I cannot find what you're gifted in. If you find what you're gifted in, and it sounds very easy, but you always choose your gift over everything.
100%.
You always choose your gift, and how you find your gift is it's what you do with so much ease, and it brings you so much joy. It might not bring the currency at this point, as in it does not bring the bag, but find what you love doing and allow it to convert into a rand value conversation with yourself and what you love doing, and someone else will be willing to pay for it.
And also, as you mentioned right now, is that how social media is going in the past, like how is it going forward?
Sure.
As you're saying, it's being taken very in a very, no, I wouldn't say dramatic,
Sure.
you know, as people don't understand is that how social media is important, how can it be influential, you know.
Yeah.
There's people on social media live the social media life, but actual real life they don't.
Sure.
What is the thing that you could tell a person, you know what, this is how you deal with social media anxiety.
Yeah.
You know, I understand. How do you deal with that? You know what, man, I come here, I want to start creating content and everything, but I don't know how to start. How do you tell me, you know, this is the next step, how you do it? Is you being a presenter? I know you smash it. It does. It does. I know.
So I am, you know, I am an aspiring TV presenter. But aside of that, I think your question, I think social media is a hard place. Right? Social media is a hard place to find yourself in because there's just a lot. There's absolutely a lot happening. There are a lot of things being said and done. People judge what you say, what you do. True. People get to, and sometimes even for them, they're afraid to do what you do. So that is why they come at you.
And
you know, they come at you because even themselves, they don't have the guts to create.
Have you ever come to that before?
I have, you know, and for me, it's just realizing at least my work is out there.
True.
You know, and I find 80% of the time people that never give you critical, you know, everyone that has given me the most critical advice to build myself has always jumped into my DMs and my comments. someone that genuinely wants you to build something,
Yes.
they jump on my DMs. They be like, yo, I just watched XYZ, or you're speaking at such an event and I was there. Here are key points to note next time. Or if it was such a dope speak engagement, they come to my DMs or they just drop a comment. But everyone else that would speak ill of something on my comment section is because they themselves, they are a reflection of what they put down. And essentially you are doing something that maybe they fear to do themselves.
And also, it's the pressure. You're like,
Yeah.
yo, he's smashing it. Why am I not?
Yes,
So,
yes,
why?
yes. So you look at people that on the come up, man, and I think I make such an example. Mugelings on TikTok.
Yes, I know Mugelings.
Yes, I was just Ubanele. Ubanele's watch him grow from when he was still back home. I think in Mpumalanga. Esekhaya, Ivranda, Stoop. And people would always be like, oh, Ganti, you know, as funny as his content was, as engaging his content was, as realistic and, you know, but there were still people speaking ill towards his content, you know, people that weren't seeing the vision that he had for himself. But where he is today was a true reflection that if he had paid attention to those that said he was dark, to those that had said you are different, to those that had said X, Y, and Z about him, then he would have went back into his shell and he would have not been the person that he is today.
You know what, a lot of people talk.
Absolutely. But you rise above the noise, man. You rise above the noise. And sometimes it means going under, but continuously create and put it out and be quiet. Put it out, be quiet. Put it out and be quiet. Eventually the right people will notice.
And they also come to you, as you said, they come to you and be like, you know what, this is amazing, this is spectacular and everything. But inspiring from that move. But if it'll come to a situation which, you know what, this is me, this is what your goal saying, you know what, I want to go far is how much I want to be a team presenter or whatever. What is that mean? You be like, I want to see myself there. Yes, you see like it's the highest pinnacle of everything, but where is that place? Where is it? Somewhere.
Internationally, I want to host the BET Awards. I want to be on that stage, not necessarily the Grammys.
Why not the Grammy?
It's a personality thing, you know. I'm not as much as I'm Grammy material, right? But I'm Grammy, but I think I understand the kind of platforms and stages I want to be on. The BET Awards for me is colorful, is fun, fierce, conversational, and thrilling. Do you get what I mean?
It is like that.
And with that being said, it's that, but at the same time, it's finding the niche, man. I want to host the South African Music Awards, the South African Film and Television Awards, the Metro FM Awards, the Mamas in South Africa, because
coming for everything,
I'm not,
one by one.
I'm not lying. You know, I am coming for everything, and I want everything to happen, and it will happen. But I just need to trust the process, because I've been gifted such a beautiful gift and talent, and it's so raw, it's anointed, and I know South Africa will receive me one day, and I'm coming for everything.
I'm telling you, it's a warning. It's like a friendly warning. So it's on the shoulder. It's like, hey,
I was telling someone today that my first job in the industry, I was in grade 9. I did Rhythm City as an extra.
Serious?
I was in grade 9. So I've always
been listening for a long time.
Yeah, big dog, and it's the break, man. You know, it's the break, and I sound very well articulated, but it gets hard. I don't want people to yeah, man, it gets hard. It really does get hard. It gets hard for myself. The many no's I've gotten. I've done the VJ search with MTV Base. I've gotten a no. The first stage is a yes. The second stage is a yes. The third stage, you're too young, because I was young then. You know, you're too young. You fit the profile, but there's this about you. You sound very, you know. But I think that, and I've gotten many no's, man, and it's not easy. And imagine from grade 9
to now,
to where I am today, and it's just understanding the journey.
You know, one of the things when you say no, you know, when I take a no, I always take it as and also for the next opportunity.
Absolutely.
Okay, no.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The first time I heard that was with Umsela and the BTS. And there's a guy, and he used to wear a T-shirt, and he said, "No means next opportunity." And I was like, I receive it. It means next opportunity, but it hurts in the moment.
Hey, and you know, it doesn't just like strike with it's a no. It strikes inside because
you go to do something and you believe that's the break,
and that's
no one does anything. And for me, it's when you know you're gifted. I know that I'm a bloody great host.
Like-
I'm a bloody great speaker. Give me a stage and I'll show up. Give me a camera,
mine.
I'm done, you know, and I'll give you exactly what you want. But at the same time, as I'll add the flair, I'll add the personality, I'll add the, you know, and tell me, I'm a Xhosa speaking gent,
Yeah.
right? Yasithetha isiXhosa ndingumXhosa.
Yes.
Esikhathini esiningi ngikhuluma isiZulu, but I can also go there with English.
Like,
Do you get what I mean?
I can switch up.
I can go there.
You can switch up.
Do you get what I mean? So at the same time as I can bring you that cultural effect that you're looking for as a client, it's not just that, but there's a bit more to everything that we do. There's a way to converse, there's a way to do things, and I know that I'm gifted, man. And that when the time is right, you'll see. You know, there's a saying that I always say: imagine a bow and an arrow, right? And you are holding it back, and you're pulling. Imagine yourself being the arrow. And you're getting pulled back. You're getting pulled back, and you feel that you're ready. But the man or woman that is holding you ends up shaking because they pulled you back so far, and you feel like you've been ready to be let go. But you forget that at that point, when they let go, once they've trimmed it, once they've done everything, when they do eventually let go, you'll surpass everything and everyone. That anything that has been put in your way, people thought you'll never reach, but because someone held you back for so long, that being God, they'll hold you back for so long, preparing you for a particular time in your life. For so the day that He allows you and says, "Yes, Mdanam, I'm letting you go," you'll go
very fast.
you'll get there, and it'll take time. It'll be hard. It'll have its own ups and downs, but there'll be a time when you do show up, and it'll happen.
As you say, Guti, in everything, you know, through all the ups and downs and everything that you've done.
Sure.
On the journey of God.
Yes.
You know, Guti trusting in good generation. How was it the journey before? You know what? Before, you know, me trusting God in the process, as you saying, I trusted God in the process, and that's how it's turned out.
Yeah.
How has it been? Which, you know what? It's been like this. As for me, is harmony. I'm like, you know what? You say, this is me.
I think it's an evolving relationship with Christ and God, because I don't think I trust Him enough. Also, because there are days where I question Him. There are days where I'm like, "Yo, where are you?" You know, I'm just like, "Yo, you." But at the same time, you know, there's a script that there's a saying: "Be still and know that I'm God."
Sure.
Be still and know that I'm still God, even when things aren't happening, even when it seems like it won't happen. Be still. The still part for me is the hard one,
Really hard.
because I feel like, how am I still when I think I can do it? But your answer is being still, you know? And I don't have an answer for that relationship with God, how I do it, but I trust in Him. I know it's telling for the days that I doubt Him are the days that I know He'll do it. For the days when I doubt Him, I feel like I've done so much. There was a day where I remember the first day when I cried, and I think it was about 2 years ago. And I break down and I cried because I was going to an audition, and I'm going to an audition, and there wasn't taxis from Midrand to Sandton. So the only taxis from Midrand were from Midrand to Johannesburg. I had to get off on the on-ramp to here. Sure, you may. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, you know, it's just that. It's that kind of conversation. It's as hard as it is, you trust, man. You trust. And I was telling you a story from Midrand to Sandton, and from Sandton,
How is it? Chick, is it yours? What do you call?
oh, Mama, Mama.
That's with him. I mean, please check out.
Oh, you got me Coke?
Don't worry. Is it rolling? Is everything fine? Right, thanks.
Be cutting the cake, by the way.
Oh, Mama says small.
But
You carved that, right?
it's true.
It's true, babe.
We're not cutting it out. I'm not like I'm not gonna cut
I
it out.
bet, man.
Right. But you saying it's oh yeah, you're still saying about going up at the pole.
So I get off on the on-ramp, on the end-ramp on our Borough Drive.
Right.
And I have to walk from there, and approximately I have to get to almost halfway Rosebank.
Okay.
And because there weren't taxis. And just the walking element, man, I just felt like, God, why?
Yeah, you see, I do get that.
God, why? And I always say that if I don't make it in life, God would have done himself an injustice to the many people I've told that he is there and he will make a way.
True.
It would be an injustice on his end. And it sounds cocky, but it's a playful saying that I trust in him that much, where I know that he has my back. You know, I trust in God, man, so much that there are days where I have nothing. You know, as a freelancer, as a person that does the kind of work that I do, there are days where I have. So in reference, I don't want to put it in thousands or millions or anything like that. So if this month I have 15 Rand in my account, probably next month I'll have about 6 Rand. From me having the 6 Rand, I'll have probably next month about 8 Rand. So every month is different, and I'm praying for a time where I'm stable and there's a bit of sustainability and accountability in terms of my finances in my life more than anything.
You know, you saying that you have embarked on routine, there's a question you'd be like, why? You know, you just sit down and you'd be like, why is it happening to me?
Sure.
Why is it happening now?
But I always say, if not me, then who?
True.
You know, I always say, if not me, then who? I remember there was a year, my parents had just gotten divorced, right? And the separation hit us hard as kids because it was so abusive at the time. How do I put this? There was a time where committing suicide was the only way, right? Attempting to just end my life was the only way out I saw. And I remember asking my psychologist and saying to him, this is it, you know? I'd written the letter, I had done it all.
This was final.
I was done, you know? I was too young to be going through what I was going through.
It was too much.
It was a lot. And I then say to him, I'm done. And he then says to me, imagine the younger harmonies that are yet to still be born, that will go through what you're going through, will not have to hear the testimony and the victory at the end from you. Then would we still have to wait for a harmony to bestow the crown, the element of going through it all? Because God will never give you so much if you can't bear it, you know? And I've had about 2 attempts of suicide where at the end I came back. At the end I came back.
How did you even, like, how was it? How was the first one?
It was pills, man. It was pills. And I think, you know, as a child, and I think as much as I was attempting, I don't think I was really attempting. Because I didn't take that kind of dosage. I took a huge dosage. I woke up in hospital, but it wasn't that deep. It was
Same time
gone.
Because
You know? But I remember how I felt, you know, the shame, what the hell was I thinking? You know, is life that hard? And in actuality it was, you know. But I'm grateful to the fact that I get to wake up every day and I get to speak to people and I get to tell my story the most authentic way. And as bougie as it sounds because of how I sound and speak, but for someone that it's meant for someone that is from Ekasi will understand that I choose not to speak like the township. I choose not to dress like where I'm from.
Because you want to run.
Because exactly, you know, and I want more. Not that someone that doesn't dress like I dress, speak like I speak, will not be afforded the opportunity that I drive for, that I aspire for. But there's a caliber and there's a lifestyle, there's a way of life I want more than anything.
You know, when you just mentioned right now, man, I know as you, I think also there's also some parts that I also know.
Sure.
Which, you know what? Yes, Jen.
Oh yeah, up let's say no, for a fact. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, comrade. As umjita ngiyatshela ngiyazazi ngiyayifonela ngizikhulumise ngizibhaze ngizenza zonke, and I'll tell you why. Because I can't wait to be validated by the world to know my value. I'd never wait for anyone to validate me. Have you met me? Have you experienced the things that I've gone through for you to think you are to validate me and my existence? Comrade, hold on a bit.
Oh, wait a minute.
Hold on a bit, because I understand that ukuyitshela kwami comes with the fact that I value myself. Not that ukuthi ngiyitshela ngimbona omunye umuntu. Cha, ngiyambona omunye umuntu, ngiyamhlonipha omunye umuntu, and inhlonipho into ekhona ekhaya. Yabo? Ukuzazi, and ingakho ngithi we're having this conversation in the best way to communicate, because this is how we communicate. It's my mom and dad would never understand me speaking English to them. and I would never omunye umuntu omdala ekhaya elokishini ekhona bangimbingelela mhlawumbe ngithi good morning. Doesn't work that way.
Bonjour.
Yeah, bonjour bani. Kodwa ngempama Joe uthi bonjour ba yintoni bonjour?
Shoes.
Did you get? But I mean, so for me essentially is ngiyayitshela comrade. I won't lie to you. When I show up, I show up, and if you have a problem with that, then check yourself. Don't check me.
And you made a mark.
Yeah, just check you. Don't think, and because I show up and people think Ekutheni I'm overcompensating, and sometimes it's not that. It's not that. It's because I know the dream. I know what has been bestowed onto me, and I'll never value myself the way that you want to value me. And if I've overvalued myself, then I choose to overvalue myself. But I will not ever value myself at how you perceive me or your perspective on into my life seems, or whatever life that you think I deserve. Annoyance, never.
And you saying that, which is how you view. I know, which I'm on it's because of the English. No, it's.
Oh no, I worked for this. No,
Exactly.
I worked for it.
You know when you say which we are Stella, me, I don't understand as people. I tell myself, with me, I look at it. And
Yeah.
the day, my mom knows.
Even if you don't, but jokes. But I mean, like by then I see for someone else, you'd be checked, right? I'm still good.
Yeah, it's fine. Everything's
So for someone else, they'd be checked by that, right? By that I mean, as much as I think I look good, even if you don't think that, comrade, I know I look good. Sure.
At the end of the day, I look amazing. You should
Yes.
look at yourself.
Yes.
I look amazing.
Absolutely, and I think I tell you, dog, we from the township, man.
Yes.
You know, we Sugelokshini and
Yes.
ngendlela esikhuluma ngakhona ama-purpose now. Here we are today here, but I mean, I love what you just said. I mean, I'm handsome. I smell good, and
I'm a good person.
dude, the fact that you don't see it, it's like ghost movie at this point. Who ghost bamfikela ngokuthi uyi-ghost.
Ghost, I'm a ghost.
Uyangithola? And as a guy, it can get to him one way or the other. But because he understands who he is and he knows who he is, absolutely, the entire world will perceive you differently. But for as long as you know who you are, I always say, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I always say, Guti, find you in the midst of all the noise in the world. Find you, find your voice. Find what speaks to you. Find what calms you. Find what allows you to be who you are destined to be. And if you listen to that voice a bit more, you'll understand how brilliant you are.
Oh.
If you listen to the voice a bit more, you'll understand how creative you are.
you inside?
If you listen to your inner voice, your third eye, speak to yourself a bit more and be kind to yourself and understand Uguti as I don't know how to put this, but sometimes it does not make sense.
True.
You know, sometimes it does not make sense, and find a way for it to make sense only to you, and explain it to the world when it has come together. Explain it to the world when you've now come and here you are and you've blossomed, and they will then maybe get it. But for now, be kind, man. Be kind to yourself. Speak life into your own life. Speak about, like, love yourself a bit more. And yeah, man, just, I don't know. I know it's hard. I know it does not make sense. I know that there are so many things that are against you at this point. But find what speaks to you. Find that thing, man.
Who is me? Basically, in
Sure.
your shoes.
And let me say this quickly. You know, the most two important days in your life is the day that you were born and the day you discover why. And the day you discover why you were born gives you a reason
To keep on going.
it gives your life meaning. And I then dare to say there will be the day that you were born and the last day you took your breath. The dash in between is your life.
Everything that you're doing.
Everything that you did, everything that you achieved, what does that dash represent? What does that dash mean? What does your obituary read? How well traveled were you? What did you do? How many jobs did you have? How well did you live? Who did you meet?
Even in everything.
In everything, man. So the day you were born and the day you discover why, and the day you were born and the day that you take your last breath and the dash in between, find the dash, man. Find life. Find the beauty in life.
You know, I would tell myself, imagine if it's like your daily life.
Sure.
If there's cameras around, how would you like it?
Boring, for sure.
How would you like it?
It would be boring because I work a lot.
How is it boring?
Remember, as someone that is in entertainment, I understand how a plot, everything in my life would have to have a plot, right?
Okay.
So my brother would have to be involved. I have an identical twin, by the way. So my brother would have to be involved. My younger brother would have to be involved. My relationship with my mom. And I feel like for me, as